the heartbeat of the earth. The hands that give life its worth. With every step, they break new ground. Harvesting hope from all around. Through every season, through highs and lows. The untold journey, the heroes grow. Harvest heroes, rising strong. Building tomorrow all day long.
Hello guys, welcome to our 10th episode of Harvest Hero Podcast. Guys, I meant to say podcast. Guys, we are going around the world. This is fantastic. We are receiving feedback from people saying how the program, they really love what we are doing. This is just amazing. If you just joined us, make sure you write your name in the comment section and where you're listening us from. Thank you to our faithful listeners. This is Susie. I am your podcast host for this wonderful podcast, and it's a pleasure for us to have you on board. Thank you so much. Today is a special episode. We have a very special guest, our country coordinator of Agricodeexpo Kenya, that is present here. Welcome you. Thank you so much, Mr. James, for joining us. Without wasting time, we will go directly into our question and answer session, guys. We do not waste time. So, Mr. James, our first question for you is: we want you to start by presenting yourself and what you do.
Thank you very much. My name is James Saningo, the country coordinator of Kenya, Agricodeexpo. And I've been doing a lot into climate change, agriculture, which is the main focus of Agricodeexpo. And we've been making gains here in Kenya by bringing out and also bringing the youths into the context of agriculture, and also bringing them and raising their awareness, and also doing the capacity buildings for the young people to be able to work on agriculture, work on climate change, and also impact lives in the society.
Thank you so much, Mr. James, for what you're doing in Kenya. You're doing an amazing job. I've been seeing you in schools. You're doing a lot of trainings with schools and students in school. I just saw on your social media. That's very impressive. Thank you for the great job you're doing. So our next question is: can you share a little bit about your background and how you got started in the field?
Right. So I have a background in agriculture. That is, I've been able to do a diploma in agricultural extension. I've also been able to do Bachelor's of Education, which is the main bachelor degree that I'm holding. And I've also been able to do a diploma in business management. And these skills have been able to push me on the line of leadership, because I've also undertaken leadership certificates, leadership diplomas, and I've been able to guide the young people here in Kenya to be able to be change makers, have ideas, bring their own ideas, and also bring it into reality. I've been also pushing on strategic policies which are to be implemented, that is in regards to climate change and also agriculture, to ensure that we have enough and surplus production of food in Africa and in Kenya, basically, such that we don't have challenges with food and hunger, that is in Kenya and in the communities around Kenya. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the amazing work you're doing. And our next question we have for you is: what inspired you to pursue your career in the domain you're actually uh, in now, in all the training and the coaching session you're doing with the students around Kenya?
Right. Being moved with passion. That is the main thing that keeps on pushing me. That is passion, to ensure that every learner in the community, every student in the community, in schools all over Kenya, are able to get the knowledge of and are also able to be empowered on their early stages, so that when they are growing up, they are able to choose their careers correctly. Moving to schools, from school to school, that is across Kenya, reaching over 1,000 schools so far, and I've been able to reach around 400,000 learners. And that is a very great move by which I'm making so far to ensure that I'm placing knowledge into these learners to give them an opportunity to be able to know and also to be able to be coached on the future, not basically depending on uh, jobs to be employed, but to make their own jobs that is out of agriculture. And also, I've been moving up with sexual and reproductive health. There is trainings, which is also one of the key things that is affecting the young learners that is in high schools and other stages in primary as well as the CBC that is here in Kenya. So I've been able to reach the learners, give them the knowledge to ensure that they have the knowledge and they are well equipped as they are growing. They are able to know which is the right career, which is the right thing, and which is the wrong thing, so that they are able to be well equipped and engaged. Yeah.
Wow, thank you. The amazing work you're doing. If I understood what you said 1,000 schools and 400,000
1,000.
students.
Right,
Wow,
right.
this is so amazing. Thank you for the amazing work you're doing. Guys, if you want to partner with James in doing this amazing work around Kenya or other around the world, please make sure you contact him, get in contact with him so that you can do the same thing in your community too through the amazing work he is already doing. Thank you so much for that, James. And as I said earlier, all his details will be in the chat. Make sure you get in contact with him. And he's doing an amazing job in Kenya through Agricodeexpo too, and through his personal NGO. He's doing fantastic. Guys, make sure you get in contact with him to keep to keep in keeping the legacy of this wonderful work. Thank you. Our next question is what was one of your biggest challenge when you started on earlier on doing this training in various schools?
Right. One of the barriers that has been challenging me is, we can say, financial stability. That is, while I was beginning the journey. But along the way, I got sponsors who are able to sponsor most of these activities, and I've been able to run smoothly. So apart from that financial challenges, there are other challenges. There is also terrains here in Kenya. We have slopy, hilly terrains. So at times you are in a place and you encounter a slopy terrain, bad weather, and therefore that has also been a challenge here. But all in all, we keep on moving. Yeah.
Thank you. We keep on moving. We definitely, guys, we keep on moving. Thank you for that. So, our next question is who has been most influential in shaping your journey in this field?
Right. To begin with that, shaping my journey, I began the leadership some years back while I was in school. That is, in high school, in the university, being a leader. And when I got out here, the first person I met was the CEO of Agricodeexpo, and that is Susie. She made me realize more of the dreams that I can expand my territory, that is basically by creating change in the society. And I've been able to move with speed to ensure that this change is well placed in the society, in the learners, in the community. Everybody gets the knowledge to understand the goodness of creating the change that we want to see, and therefore making it a personal obligation to see that people are making gains in the society.
Thank
So
you.
apart from the CEO, I've also been able to be coached by one of the lecturers who is currently working with the UNEP, who has also been a very instrumental guide. Her name is Madam Jeffwa, that is Professor Jeffwa.
Wow.
She has also guided me on the path of creating change in the society and being the change I want to see in the society. Yeah.
Thank you. I love that, being the change you want to see in the society. That is a key. And you are doing an amazing job, Mr. James. I say the first time we met, there's such a difference between the person I met the first time and now the person I'm seeing now. I'm just seeing social media everywhere. And I'm like, this is James. This is Mr. James doing his job, doing what he has been born for. Thank you so much for that. Our next question is, what piece of advice did you wish you had when you started this journey in your field? Like when you started the journey,
Maybe to come up with
when you started the journey in your field as going to schools and teaching and being a leader, what piece of advice, sorry, did you wish you had at the beginning that would have helped you better?
all right. Rather, the thing that I thought I wanted to be equipped with was the knowledge, basically the knowledge of, and also the courage of being a leader, which at first I never had that courage that much. But along the way, I gained the courage as I was interacting with the learners, and they were responsive to uh, the change you're trying to bring to them, the trainings you're bringing to them. The teachers are welcoming, and that was a very nice impression that made me realize that, oh, kumbe I can do this. So at first, the courage wasn't there. So I was just trying. I was just trying my, they say dropping a dice. So I was trying to drop my dice. But now, after I realized, I went to two schools, three schools, and realized that, this one can work, this one cannot work. So I chose the part that can work, and that is what has brought me to the place where I am.
Thank you so much for that response. And on that, can you give what advice can you give to somebody that wants to start a part in a career or maybe in a project and has doesn't know where to start?
Right. The first thing I can advise is having passion. Have the passion on whatever you're trying to do, no matter how small it is, no matter how unrealistic it might seem. Just have the passion. Do it repeatedly and repeatedly until you see it paving a way for you to grow. Because if you give up on the way, who will take it up from you? So just push, keep on pushing, no matter how small you gain or no matter how little you're gaining, just have that passion and being self motivated that you want to see the change in the society. Just the way you want to see that change, you begin with yourself. How are you going to uh, move? How are you going to uh, do yourself? How are you going to have that mentality on yourself before going out and reaching out to other people? You need to begin with yourself, change yourself before changing the society. And then when you move to the society, have that passion of making the change in the society. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Have that passion of making the change in society. I love your word. That just word of wisdom. Our next question we have is, what can you describe a pivotal moment in your life that changed your way of doing things, or that made you see yourself as a leader? That transition.
Right. Let me narrate it as a short story. So, in my days while I was in high school, I had that challenge. I've been passing around the streets going to school and back. And one thing touched me on a certain day while I was moving to school. I realized that there are people who are living without shelters. Those are the street kids. And that one, first of all, pricked me because people surviving without food, surviving without clothes, without shelter. And I went ahead to my high school, uh, tried to consult with teachers on how we can do a program to ensure that these learners, because they are the same kids like we are, it's only that they are disadvantaged. And I talked to the teachers, tried to bring up an idea of how we can help the society. And the good thing, the teachers were very responsive and positive towards that approach. So they were able to do some contributions. They adopted two learners, that is the two street kids, brought them, and the program has been moving on along the years. So they just collect the money, contribute the money, bring the learners, two learners or one learner in a month or two, bring them to a school. And after seeing that, I realized that that is a change I want to see. I don't want to see people lying on the streets. I don't want to see people living hungry. So, with that, I was able to also motivate the learners, my fellow learners that is in my high school, and we came into a common cause to ensure that we placed this as our objective, that when we grow up or when we gain something else or when we get out, we are able to have these street kids educated, because they are also learners like we are. They also get food the way we get, and also get a shelter the way we get. And from the listening of the teachers and also the learners, I realized that I can make a good leader, because they were able to listen and also act on the program that I came up with. So I realized that I can be a leader. I can lead these people, give them some instruction, and I'll give them some ideas, and my ideas are viable, and they adopt it, and it works. So that made me realize that I can be a good leader.
That is just so amazing, amazing, amazing. And we are happy you were able to unleash that leadership potential and you're helping a lot of people, a lot of children around Kenya and surely around the world very soon. Our next question is what has been your proudest moment or biggest accomplishment so far?
My biggest accomplishment so far has been community engagement, because I've been able to mobilize a very huge population, not of learners, that is for the rest of the community,
Mhm.
in movement that is tree planting. I've been able to engage over 500 people in a community march against um, bad policies in environment and also in environment conservation. I've been able also to gather around 800 uh, young people, uh, having a discussion on the way forward in agriculture, and also adding up on the education sector. I've been able to reach the over 400,000 learners, and that is a very great achievement, because for somebody to reach even 10,000, that is an achievement, but now reaching
It
over 400,000, that is a very great achievement.
it
And
is.
seeing them coping up with the agendas and coping up with the programs that you're coming with, coping up with the ideas you're bringing to the schools, and they are implementing it without asking you for money or asking you for other favors,
Wow.
then you realize that that is a very great achievement. So I'm glad that in the year 2024, I was able to reach over 400,000 learners.
Wow. And I'm sure you're going to reach much more before December. That is amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for the work you're doing. It is really amazing. Guys, if you want to partner with James in this amazing work, make sure you get his contact from the description and contact him. James is an international trainer, he trains everywhere. So if you contact him and give him the right details, guys, he will be at your school and doing the job he needs to do. Sorry, he's an amazing trainer. Our next question is how do you stay ahead of innovation in your field? Like in
How
the
did I? Maybe come up again.
In the training field, this training field that that you just embarked on in this leadership field, how do you stay ahead of trend and innovation in this specific field?
All right, thank you for that great question. So, in the innovation context, I've also been able to bring on board several innovations, including my own personal made innovation, that is making shoes using sisal, which are amazing shoes, which is soon going to be in the market, as
Wow.
we are still moving on with the pitch and the other procedures to ensure that we gain funding to be able to produce many more. Unfortunately, I don't have a sample close to me. I could have shown you, but I and my team, that is a team of three, we've been able to make shoes using sisal and wood. And these shoes are very durable. They are all weathered. It is also treated, so it can't hold germs. So that one, as we are pushing on that one, I've also been able to encourage the growing innovators. That is by uh, giving them the necessary mentorship and the necessary connection they need to be able to make their innovations open to the world and also visible, and also uh, recently, that is around a month ago, I was able to push one of the innovations, and they were able to win an award of 500 Kenyan shillings, 500,000 Kenyan shillings rather. And that is an achievement because I also feel happy because when I see somebody else growing, that means I'm also growing. So I always push the context of innovation, either in agriculture, either in AI, and any other fields. I also push to ensure that everybody has a ground or a platform to be able to get the mentorship, the correct mentorship, and also gain access to funding. Yeah.
Thank you. That is very important because when the people you train grow, that means you're growing. Your growth is reflected in your growth. That is very important. So our next question we have is what are some of the misconceptions people have about you or the work you do in your field?
Uh, Unfortunately, being in Africa, there are always misconceptions. Uh, Other than misconception, there are also rumors
Mhm.
that somebody is that I'm trying to build myself, leaving others behind, and that one has not been able to limit me because you realize there are always conflict of interest, and on that part, I come up with a strategy to evade from such a trap, and that one has also made me a good leader to been able to avoid a lot of corrosions and compact with people in regards to power or any other kind uh, of interests. So I'm glad that despite the misconceptions and despite the rumors that I'm only building myself, despite me building others, which is not seen or not visible to other people in the society. I've always been able to try as much as possible to keep myself standardized and also uh, well mannered to ensure that we don't have any conflicts. And in case any arises, I've also been able to tackle them and ensure that we are able to move steadily in peace. Yeah.
I will go forward and ask you, can you give us some of your strategies so that we can implement it too? Just share with us some of the strategies you use so that we can implement it too. Any listeners here can implement.
Absolutely. Uh, in my work as the one I've been visiting schools, providing trainings to learners, uh, you realize that somebody else, after realizing that you're pushing an agenda in schools and pushing with the school principals, somebody comes with a different interest, says that you're coming to train learners. For instance, there was a time I was doing the sexual health and sexual reproductive health trainings, and somebody came up with an ideology that these trainings are not meant for learners. These trainings are meant for the old and the grown-ups. So that was one of the challenges that I met in the field. So he was trying to derail me. He was trying to decampaign me from the school principals, from the Ministry of Education, that is. And I was able to evade by bringing the significance and the importance, telling the principals the importance of training these learners as early as they are young. While they are still young, they are able to guide themselves. When they have the training, when they have the knowledge that is expected of them, they are able to implement what is good, and they are also able to come up with strategies to prevent themselves from early pregnancies, among others. So that was one of the biggest challenge that I faced, and I was able to overcome it in
Thank
just a simple sort of.
Thank you. That was so wise. That was so wise. That was an amazing way of dealing with it. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. Guys, today we had a special guest, Mr. James. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure to have you on this wonderful episode. So, guys, this is the end of this wonderful episode, guys. It was episode 10 with our special guest, Mr. James, our country coordinator from Kenya. If you want to get in contact with Mr. James, guys, you have all his details in the descriptions, in description section of this video and this live, and make sure you get in contact with him. Thank you so much to our wonderful listeners for being there, for the faithful listener. This is episode 10. We thank you for joining us. We thank you, and please like, share the episode. And if you want to be our guest, don't forget to get in contact with us. We can add you on the guest list, guys. We are booked for this year. The only available spot we have is February next year, but you can still be a guest, and we'll love to have you. Thank you so much for your faithfulness. Thank you so much for listening. This is Harvest Hero, and your host was Susie. Thank you so much, guys. Goodbye.